Economist Nouriel Roubini believes the overall trend for gold will be lower over time as the global economy mends itself. The gold rush is over, he says, and predicts gold falling towards $1,000 by 2015. The run-up in gold from $800 to over $1,900 had all the features of a bubble, he says. And now, like all asset price surges that are divorced from the fundamentals of supply and demand, the gold bubble is deflating, he says. Mr. Roubini gives 6 reasons for why he believes the gold rush is over. Reason number 1. Gold prices tend to spike when there are serious economic, financial, and geopolitical risks in the global economy. But even though this may be the case in a real and continuing financial meltdown, he feels that gold would still be a poor investment with margin calls forcing sales, resulting in an extremely volatile price. Reason number 2. Roubini notes that gold performs best when there is a risk of high inflation, as its popularity as a store of value increases, but points out that despite the huge amounts of monetary easing, inflation has remained low and may actually be falling due to the velocity of money collapsing. Commercial banks are seen as hoarding the liquidity provided by the central banks, while reduced purchasing power and low wage demands because of high unemployment are keeping inflationary pressures down. Reason number 3, the lack of earnings from gold argument. While other forms of investment generate income, gold does not. So Roubini sees gold solely as a play on capital appreciation, and that with the global economy arguably recovering, other assets are seen as generating higher returns. Indeed, QE-boosted US and global equities have vastly outperformed gold since the sharp rise in gold prices in early 2009. Reason number 4, the arguably more positive outlook about the US and the global economy implies that over time the Federal Reserve and other central banks will exit from quantitative easing and zero interest policy rates, which means that real rates will rise rather than fall. With gold performing better in a zero or negative interest rate environment, Roubini thus sees its attraction waning as interest rates start to rise. Reason number 5. Roubini argues that some of the central banks of the more indebted nations may be tempted to liquidate part of their gold holdings and thus further depress the gold market. He points specifically to Cyprus, where a report that it might sell a small fraction, some 400 million euros, of its gold reserves may have continued to triggering a 13% fall in gold prices in April. Reason number 6. Here he blames some extreme political conservatives, particularly in the US, for overhyping gold in ways he considers to have been counterproductive. These fanatics, as he calls them, have suggested a return to some form of gold standard as being inevitable, as they predict hyperinflation may ensue from the central bank debasement of currency through quantitative easing. He goes on to say that given the absence of any conspiracy to expropriate citizens' wealth, falling inflation, and what he sees as the inability to use gold as a currency, such arguments cannot be sustained. Do you agree with Nouriel Roubini's stance on gold? Do you think that gold will hit $1,000 in the next 2 years? Leave your response in the comment section below. The text of this video can be found in the description box below by clicking the Show More button.